Parshas Teruma speaks about the mitzvah of Osali Mikdash Shechanti B'Seichem, building a holy place for Hashem where Hashem should rest. Pasuk goes on to elaborate how was this done, that the Jewish people participated by giving gold, silver, copper, different materials for the Mishkan, and through that Hashem rested in the Mishkan, and we know that the famous interpretation of the Pasuk Shechanti B'Seichem, I will rest in them. It doesn't say I will rest in it, in the Mishkan, but I will rest in them, in every single Jew. The Mishkan was the headquarters where Hashem rested in the world amongst the Jewish people, and from there, light spread to the whole world, to the house of every single Jew, to the heart of every single Jew. Our sages explain to us that every single Jew, the Jewish people, are called also a Beis HaMikdash, are also called a tabernacle for Hashem. And the same way there was a physical tabernacle, every single Jew is supposed to make out of himself a holy tabernacle for Hashem. You had in the Mishkan, there were three parts. There was the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Holy of Holy. You had the Kodesh, the Holy, where in the Holy of Holies you had the Holy Ark with the Luchos, with Torah, Sefer Torah, and the two Luchos which represented the Torah, the Ten Commandments. Then you had the outer chamber, where you had the Menorah, the golden altar, the Shulchan, and then you had the courtyard where you had the copper altar, the Kier, and so on and so forth. So in general, many Sfarim it's explained as a comparison. The head of a person, where a person learns Torah, that's parallel to the Holy of Holies, the Kodesh HaKadoshim. That is the unity. A Jewish person's brain becomes one with Hashem's wisdom through learning Torah. Then there's the more lower organs, which are not as high as the head, but they're still more or less very important organs, like the heart, etc., which are represented by the outer chamber. There, a person awakens a love for Hashem in his heart, and his inner connection, which is in the realm of emotion, versus the brain, which is the realm of understanding. And then there's the realm of action. Then there's the external organs of a person, his hands and his feet, which parallel the avodah of dealing with the world, of just like in the Mishkan, the outer altar, which was in the courtyard, was where all the sacrifices, the animals of the world, were elevated to godliness, dealing with the physical matter and elevating it to godliness. Every person is supposed to make it out of every part of himself a Mishkan for Hashem, a dwelling place for Hashem. And how does he do that? By very simple activities, Zav, Kesef, and Nechoshes, by physical items, using them to make a Mishkan for Hashem. A person might say that I know my spiritual status, I'm not that great and holy, and what can I do? What can I contribute? What is the purpose of me doing it? So we know that every single contribution to the Mishkan was accepted, and the Jewish people at that time, according to some interpretations, they were ready after the sin of the golden calf. They were Baalei Tshuva. They did one of the worst sins throughout Jewish history. Nevertheless, Hashem desired to dwell amongst them. So no Jew, Hashem wants to rest within the heart of every single Jew, within the actions of every single Jew. Another lesson we learn from the Mishkan is that it's not enough. On one hand, it says that the Mishkan was brought with Nedivus Lev, with a willingness of the heart. It wasn't just they did physical actions, but they did it with a true desire to connect to Hashem, to give something for Hashem. On the other hand, this love, this desire was connected with physical donations, with simple physical things. And the message is that from one hand, we should not do our mitzvahs out of rote, out of habit. We have to do it with a nediv lev. We have to awaken our desire. On the other hand, we don't believe in cardiac jewelry. It's not enough just that you want to do what Hashem wants, and you love Hashem, but you have to express it in physical deeds. It could be very simple deeds, small, a few pennies, but that's what counts. Another thing we find that our sages tell us that the mitzvah of building a Beis HaMikdash is a big Beis HaMikdash that was in Yerushalayim, and then there's the Mikdash Ma'at, the miniature temple, which is on a soul level, it's in the heart of every single Jew, and on a practical level it means there's the shuls, there's Bate Knesiyos, Bate Midrashos, places of learning, places of davening, which are spread out throughout the whole world. The Rebbe initiated a campaign, as is well known, that even small children should make out of their room a cheder tzivus Hashem, a house for tzivus Hashem, a room of tzivus Hashem. And around the same time, the Rebbe also started a campaign to have a Chabad house in every single place. The idea is that every single part of the world should become a place of holiness. A person should use out every single physical item, find a connection with holiness. Now, a person, we hear about people that opened up Chabad houses in far-flung places of the world. It sounds very nice and exciting. But the truth is, we could all do the same thing. If someone he has a business meeting, or he has sending an email about something completely random, and it's totally far-flung from anything of Yiddishkeit, but somehow he manages to throw in, to connect it with something that brings a person closer to Yiddishkeit. So he's taking that physical item, that physical particular thing of whether it's time or place, and he's connecting it with a message of drawing down godliness in that thing. The Rebbe once spoke about a newspaper, a news correspondent, that his job is to write news. How could he connect anything with godliness? But nevertheless, he could still find a way of highlighting Hashgacha Pratis, divine providence. As the Rebbe once told someone else, the Rebbe said that no one that writes a newspaper is objective. As much as people try to make it sound that they're objective, we all know, particularly in today's day and age, that no newspaper is objective. A person could always find a way, in a hidden way, to have an agenda, a good agenda, bringing out something godly within that particular aspect that he's doing. So a person has the ability in anything that he's doing, even something which seems to be a very remote place, and he could only bring out godliness in a very minimal way. But nevertheless, that is very important, that a person should use out every opportunity in time and in place to make it a dwelling place for Hashem. A little after the Rebbe started this major campaign of making every room of a child a room of a Tzivus Hashem, where you had a Torah Tefillah and Stucca, you had a Chumash, and you had a Siddur, and Stucca Pushka, and the Chitas, which also represents what the Mishkan was all about, the three things of learning Torah and connection to Hashem through prayer, and bringing sacrifices, and in general the idea of doing goodness and elevating the world with acts of Gemilas Chasadim and Mitzvahs. So the Rebbe also initiated a little while later the campaign of celebrating a birthday, Jewish birthday. And the Rebbe once explained that the idea of celebrating a Jewish birthday means that every single element of time, even a regular random day of the week, a random day of the year which doesn't seem special, is turned into a special occasion. The same way we have to elevate every single item in time and place and make it a dwelling place for Hashem. The same thing in time, we have to elevate every single dimension of time and make it a dwelling place for Hashem. The ultimate goal, what was unique about the Beis HaMikdash, was that we're able to pronounce the name of Hashem in the Beis HaMikdash, Yud Kei Vav Kei, the four-lettered name of Hashem, which usually we only say, Adonai, we don't actually pronounce the Eibishter's name, Yud Kei Vav Kei, as it's spelled. When Mashiach will come, we will once again say the name of Hashem in the third Beis HaMikdash, and also in the first and second Beis HaMikdash, and the Mishkan. They had the ability to pronounce the name of Hashem there, which means a pronunciation of Hashem's name, the way it's written, means that godliness is revealed exactly as it is. Our sages tell us in the Gemara, that in the future we're able to mention Hashem's name everywhere. What does that mean? Every single place in the world will be as holy as the Beis HaMikdash, will be as pure of any. Hashem will remove the spirit of impurity from the world, and we're able to pronounce Hashem's name as it is throughout the world. How do we prepare for this? By using out every single opportunity, even things that seem very mundane. Then the connection, we can bring it out to godliness, is a very simple, very one-liner, something a little bit remote. But by connecting every single thing to Hashem, Zav, Kesef, Nechosh, as a person, small individuals, physical things, connecting it somehow with Eibusher, this prepares the world for the time when the whole world will be at the same level as the Beis HaMikdash was, and will be, that we'll be able to pronounce Hashem's name. Godliness will be revealed in an open way. We'll see godliness resting amongst us. We'll bring blessings, physical blessings, spiritual blessings for all Jewish people. Should happen, take it from Yad Mamish. Good Shabbos.